Okay, we are taking a look at the tropical enclave region. Um, there are some issues that I'm experiencing between Unity Editor and in SineSpace itself. Right now we're looking at the Unity Editor view, and that is in Unity 2018.4.35. Everything is rendering as expected and it looks great. The animation is relatively smooth and it uses the Metal Graphics API, which is the Macintosh equivalent and iOS equivalent of DirectX. Um, Everything should be high performance and great and smooth. However, I'm running into some problems when it gets in world. I'll show you in a little bit. I also want to point out that in this scene right here where the coconut palms are at, that you can see in the scene, those are speed tree 8 objects. They use the newer tree technology and newer shaders, and in theory the light should do a much more realistic job of going through the fronds and doing shadows and all that. You can see it up here. There's a sort of a translucency on those palm fronds as one goes through the other, or the light goes through one and not the other. It looks really fantastic inside the Unity editor. I will show you in a moment how it's a little different inside the SineSpace client. Okay, and here we are in World. You can see the look is a little bit different from the Unity editor. That has always been the case with Unity and SineSpace. The two just don't quite meet, at least on the Mac. This also shows you here there's an issue with some palm frond rendering on SpeedTree 8 objects. I don't believe that the transparency of the fronds is showing here, as you saw in the Unity editor a few minutes ago. That is one of a couple of different SpeedTree issues that ScienceSpace is having with version 8. But on top of that, all vegetation seems to be experiencing an issue. You'll see it here as I'm running through on the ground in a couple of different places. This is in world, and I'm finding in some spots there's a glitching. Let's take a look in the editor over here. In the section of the forest, or the section of the island that has a bunch of banana trees and banana plants, it's, I'll say it's more densely packed than the rest of the scene. And that has to do with the fact that the banana trees just have bigger, fluffier leaves, I guess, and everything is all closer to the ground level. And there are the banana fruit that are going on. As you go through this scene in the editor, you'll see that it really looks spectacular. Every single one of these objects is a SpeedTree 7 item I've actually made over the last probably 3 years, 4 years, and it's worked fine in Unity 2017 and version 2018 in the editor, and also in newer versions that I'm not using ScienceSpace. Everything works fine. Um, we only really run into trouble when we start to get into the packed foliage in world, and I'll show you that in a second. Hopping into the ScienceSpace client, you can see as my avatar runs into the banana area, or banana forest here, that there starts to be some glitching. You can see it mostly at the ground level here. It's an animated glitching rendering effect or artifact that's happening. And you can notice it not only as I'm running, but then when I stand still, you can just see it happening. You can see it over here on the left where the cursor's at, as well as on the right. It actually just kind of goes all along that middle strip of the scene. Okay, I am back in world. What I have done is taken that same scene and I've cleared all of the baked lighting data. That is the baked real-time global illumination and the baked lighting. Everything's gone, and I've uploaded the scene and it is reprocessed. And we're taking a look and finding, it looks like the glitching is still persists. Let's see if I can get further in, if it gets worse, if it gets better. Let's see, just see what happens. And yeah, it's just still doing its thing. in the same space and it's the same glitching. So it doesn't appear to be an issue with baked lighting. Okay, now we're jumping back in. What I've done here is gone back to the Unity editor and switched from the Metal Graphics API to the OpenGL Graphics API. And that's not making a change either. So it doesn't have to do with the graphics API. We're still getting the same problem. It just appears to be a vegetation issue. I'm not sure what the density factor is, but it just seems to hit a certain point where where it just visually hits the capacity of what it can do, and beyond that, it just doesn't render properly. Isn't able to process it.